Welcome. I'm Kevin Miller. This is a podcast for your personal evolution. In this episode, I'm discussing, can you sell happiness, peace, and purpose if people really do not want it? And the question is also, do you? So I spent a lifetime doing at a high level of doing, and it sounds good on paper, but you've achieved and you build and you create and you add. And now I find that mostly what I want is peace. I'm not that old, not in my perspective. I'm 54, but I'm tired, not physically tired, but just emotionally tired. The past 4 years have been a time of deconstructing and dismantling and letting go of a lot of things that I have held dear. I've encountered the most difficult time in my life, along with the most enlightening time. And I wonder if the most rewarding time is ahead of me. And I'm experiencing peace like never before and finding it more fulfilling than achievement. And I'll soon be sharing here with you guys a construct that I found to be revolutionary for my peace and joy. But I'm concerned that when we look to offer happiness and peace and even purpose to the world, we don't realize that many, possibly a majority of people, don't really want happiness, peace, and purpose. Not mostly. Do they more so just want to feel good in the moment, to find pleasure, riches, fame, even if we're miserable at heart? And again, what do we want? There's some startling research that points to this. And I want to talk about it with you and about getting real with what, again, we really want, and quite possibly help reveal what's actually driving us, and very likely is at the root of our possible discontent, continued discontent. So I'm going to cite a study again that for me belies a very important and I feel tragically dangerous revolution about our culture today, but then opens the opportunity for us to get clear on what we want and even what we want to offer to others. So as I share this today and you hear this information, if you want to dig into it, as I always say, I'm happy to help you find a guide for yourself to implement this. Now, with this exact content today, this focus, that guide's likely going to be me. But either way, happy to connect with you. Just email me at kmiller@kevinmiller.co. If you got questions, comments, thoughts about what I'm sharing today, do that as well. All right, so coming up next, I'm going to talk about this concept of happiness, peace, and purpose. Is that really what we want? And if it is, and we want to offer it to others, how can we do that? Can we do that? And let's talk about it and evolve ourselves. Okay, so let's talk about this aspect of happiness and peace and purpose real quick. Are these concepts really compelling? Is that what we want? Is that what others want? Does the idea of a peaceful day or a happy day or life, does that really motivate you? Let's think about us for the moment first. Does that really motivate you? As you're listening to this right now, as you woke up in the morning, is that the motivation to be, to be at peace, have fulfillment, have contentment, to have purpose in what we're doing? Is that really the motivating factor? I'm really questioning this in myself and in my past and in my future, and in regards to what I want to engage with others on. What do we really want to devote ourselves to? What really is important to us? Let's get real with that. I'm going to question what we really want. And if you do come to this through this and find out, it is really what I want: happiness, peace, and purpose, even health and wellness. And you want to offer that to other people. How many really want it? As opposed to, again, just feeling good in the moment, going after that high. Because if that's the case, that if we just want to sell something, not that that's the point of this show, but if we want to sell something, then we're better off just to sell people what they want: entertainment, drugs, fame, wealth, and power. You're going to be king of the mountain for a moment. As I said in my intro, I have found myself multiple times kind of on a path that's involved a lot of burnout and some bitterness. The grind, just doing. And I've kind of sold that too. Sells well. Even as I have had great purpose in my life. I've always believed in what I was doing personally and professionally. There've been a lot of happiness along with that. Gosh, I don't want to go and minimize some of my past. I feel like in some ways I've tasted some of the greatest riches of life, with family especially. And I've not dealt with deep depression or directionlessness, but ultimately I, again, found myself at burnout and bitterness. And there's collateral damage from that, from this relentless pursuit of doing and achieving and adding and progressing. So let's consider something. Here's a study. I mentioned it in the intro. I really intrigued myself with it. I'm reading here from Wikipedia. It says Goldman's dilemma, or the Goldman dilemma, is a question that was posed to elite athletes by physician, osteopath, and publicist Robert M. Goldman, asking whether they would take a drug that would guarantee them overwhelming success in sports, but cause them to die 5 years after, or within 5 years. In his research, as in previous research by the guy Merkin, approximately half the athletes responded that they would take the drug. Okay, so we get the point there, and go with the point and the concept. There's apparently been some debates about what the results really were. But as I look at that and I look around at the culture today, I think it seems kind of true. It feels like people to some degree would, sell their soul for that big hit, that time of fame, the big riches, the big credibility, the big reward. They would do that even if there was a lot of misery leading up to it, and even if there was misery right after it, but to have that. And I'm not totally discounting that. I'm human, I'm mortal, and those big wins feel good. I was a pro cyclist, and killing yourself out there and then getting on the podium. I think on my website right now, I don't know if I'll keep it there, especially after this show. On my website, there's a picture of me on the podium. I actually wasn't even first. I got third in the race, but it was a really big race back in the day. I was a young guy, super, super proud. Man, that was a thrill. There's a picture. My young wife was out there. She took the picture. The guys around me were like, who's this dude? It's like kind of a no name then. And I was real young. It was a big win. It was worthwhile. I'm not going to, worthwhile to a degree at the time, but I'm not going to minimize that. And I want to admit to, that feels good, but man, is it fleeting. It's really, I found that it was fleeting. Now, again, the study right there, which I actually found from Arthur Brooks in his book, Strength to Strength, he cites it and uses it kind of like I am as an effort to look at, gosh, is it really happiness that we want? Now, the study was done really looking at performance enhancing drugs and questioning the attraction to them, the temptation of them. But I look at it with interest regarding our humanity, our human interest in desire for achievement over about anything else. The idea, again, what would you trade for that big hit of fame? Or, we often say, if you could have $1 billion in your bank account, what would you do for it? And what you're doing it for is saying, I would sacrifice a lot for X, for that achievement. Why? And we say, oh, well, because we think it would make us be happy. Is that even true? Or is it, no, we know that it might not. At this point, it seems like we kind of know that. We look out culturally and we see people who have made the big achievement, and we often see and hear about a lot of collateral damage. And I wonder if we've kind of gotten to the point of going, it just goes along with it. And we've kind of normalized that. That's okay. It's okay. It's worth it to win big. It's worth it to have that fame. And we're okay with the misery that might go along with it. And then, as often happens later in life, this is the hospice nurse. Her name was Bronnie Ware, The 5 Regrets of the Dying. What we realize was most important are the things we didn't do, the peace and joy and happiness that we didn't have. But again, that's really hard to sell, because right now, wherever you are, whether you're 20 or 30 or 40 or 50, you're not looking that far ahead. Maybe in your 50s, where I am now. Maybe you're looking that far. But otherwise, you just, whatever. I want the stuff. I want the achievements. And again, the point for me isn't to discount the achievements, but it's really just to get clear of what do we want? If we're looking in the mirror, what do we want? And if the reality is, I want the achievement. I want to be on the podium. I want to have the big bank account. I want to have the stuff. I want to achieve the whatever goal. Then I'm saying, well, then maybe give yourself a break when you realize I am kind of stressed out. I am full of anxiety. I am worn out. I am exhausted. I'm not real happy. Well, then just realize that's not the point. That's not what you're going for. You're going for that big achievement. And even in that, it's going to give you a momentary high for the moment, for the day, for a month, for a year. I don't know. But then you'll be back going for the next hit. Right? It's interesting. A lot of people probably have seen Jim Carrey, who's gone from being the mega movie star and comedy guy, it seems like, to now this philosopher in essence. And he recently, well, I don't know how recent, but he's well known. I see the quote here and there. He says, I think everybody should get rich and famous and do everything they ever dreamed of so they can see that it's not the answer. But then, I look at the Goldman study and I wonder if people feel like, well, hey, try me. I'd rather look for the answer while I'm rich and famous like you, Jim Carrey, which I can see, makes sense to a point. But it is interesting. I wish we could kind of consider and really embrace the what we see, that the people who achieve the big things, I don't find them to be the happiest people, the most peaceful people. And I don't find that they're really the people I want to hang out with. I have had the privilege to be around a lot of very accomplished people, and I'm not, again, going to diss them all in some broad stroke. But by far and large, they're not always the people I want to hang out with. I might want to hang out for a day and have a discussion about their area of interest. And I do. Gosh, I have great discussions with people on this show, experts in areas that I resonate with them and inspire myself and inform and educate and help grow myself through their stuff. But are they the people that I want to be with? Are they the people that I comfort myself being around, that I fulfill myself being with? Usually not. Those people I find are often not that well known. They may not be achieving a lot. And then again, this is where we want to define, okay, what makes us happy? Is it having the money? Is it not having the money? Is it this or that? I don't have a culmination of what it is, because we're talking about an external aspect. I'm talking about an internal aspect of ourselves. What do we really want? I grew up in a pretty staunch religious construct of Christianity, evangelical, Christianity. And again, I'm not going to diss that as well, but I am aware that in my own experience of it, it was generally aligned with getting the good things in life, getting the good achievements, having your quote best life now. And that if we do X, Y, and Z, if we are in God's good graces and following God's will, then by proxy, of course, we'll have all the blessings. That's what it was. 1 + 1 = 2. Or you just go to the far extreme of polarization and no, you devote yourself to it, to just expend yourself and wear yourself out and drag your rugged, bloody cross. And that misery is part of it, which I don't happen to find with Jesus overall, even though I know he was, as the story goes, whether you believe in it or not, was crucified and whatnot. So I'm not going to get into religious semantics, or doctrine, but I experienced it. And as I talk with people, most testify it as well, that they still equate their religious pursuit with getting the good things of life. And I see very little who are pursuing what was also in the Bible, the pursuit of the fruits of the Spirit and peace beyond all understanding. For those of you who know the Bible like I do and were raised up in it, do you remember that peace beyond all understanding? Who do you know today in your life that has peace beyond all understanding? Do you know somebody who you could go to right now who has time for you, who's interested in you, who's curious about you? It's not just a blank listener, and they'll just listen to you go on and drone on and vent and complain or whatever. But somebody who's checked in with you, who's present with themselves, who's okay with themselves. I mentioned Arthur Brooks. So he's gotten to be a pretty famous guy. And he's at Harvard. Robert Waldinger is another guy. Robert Waldinger is the director of the Grant Study, which is an 85-year study tracking the lives of a bunch of people, of thousands of people at this point, looking for the factors that contribute to happy, healthy, and fulfilling life. And Arthur Brooks is very much aligned. These guys are both at Harvard, both buddies. I've had them both on the show twice, and Robert endorsed my book, What Drives You, which I was really appreciative of. But these guys, again, are looking at happiness, and they ultimately have culminated at the Grant Study is it's in relationships. That relationships is what makes happy. Now, again, that assumes that the goal is to actually be happy, which we're questioning. Is it? But that's what they're saying. That's where people find it most. And I'm going to put along there fulfillment, contentment, joy, and at the core, peace. So if we looked at relationships, what causes good relationships? I don't find that it's achievements, money, fame, pleasure. I don't find two people get together and go, oh my gosh, I just, two people or any relationships that are deeply valuable to somebody, and them saying, oh, I have great value in this relationship with so-and-so because they're rich and loaded, because of their fame. That's what connects me with them, is their fame. Or, it connects me with them because they're Superman and they've achieved everything. Or, what connects me to them is their pursuit of just the pleasures, whatever it may be in the moment. Eat, drink, and be merry. I don't find that. What we find connection, which is fulfillment in relationships, is people that we feel connected to, that connect to us, and we connect to them in ways that are meaningful. It's often very much about how we feel in relation to them. We could say how they make us feel, though I don't believe that anyone makes us feel. We make us feel. But so how we feel in relation to that person. And that's somebody who's connected with us. And in that sense, we are not there for their achievements. We're not there for their money, fame, accomplishments, and pleasures. So again, if happiness is relationships, and relationships is not any of that outward external achievements, then it calls into question what should our goal be if we want, again, happiness, contentment, fulfillment, peace. I don't really enjoy hanging around super busy people, super anxious people. I don't connect with them. They don't have time to connect with me. And I have been that person so much. I think I've been a person that impressed plenty of people, but there's very few people, I think, that would say, I really connected with Kevin. They may say I connected with his messages, things that I shared, or the people I brought to them. But did they connect with me on a personal level? I'm not going to go down. I don't think I'm going to go down this road, but I feel to the people in my life that are closest, I'd say intimate relationships, not romantic, but intimate relationships, which includes, even my kids. I would say I feel more connectedness to them than ever today. And I have testimony directly from them that they feel more connected to me. And I am finding more fulfillment in that than I ever did from a podium. Now, again, I say that and I can hear a lot of people going, well, yeah, but you got to experience the podium. Wasn't it great? It was pretty cool. Again, the point isn't to discount the achievements. Even if you want to go do those things, I'm just trying to clarify and have us get real on what it is we want. There's still things I want to achieve. I've been hinting to this construct that I'm going to be bringing forward because I want to share it with people. I want it to impact a lot of people. I'm happy if it makes money. And do I care if it gains acclaim for me? I kind of like to say that I don't care. I would say it's not the number one thing for me. I'd do it even if I remained anonymous. Will I be upset if it also gets me acclaim and credibility and respect? No, I'm human, and I'd be lying if I did. I do feel good about saying it's not the primary motive, but if that comes with it, and it likely will, okay. But part of the question is, how many people actually want such a thing? What is the goal in life? What do we really want? And if we get honest with ourselves, that's part of the point I'm going to come back to of this message right here, is us looking in the mirror and going, what is most important to us? Especially if you look at your frustrations and you're frustrated that you do feel worn out, burnout, exhausted, anxiety, whatever. Well, is not feeling those things really your goal? Because if the greater goal is getting the gold medal, the achievement, the whatever, then just be okay. Make peace with the lack of peace and admit, I'm not looking for peace right now. I may some other time. And I do value that. Now, can you have peace, fulfillment, contentment, all those things, and have great achievements? Well, as I talked about, I have things that I still want to bring to the world. I have offerings. I have things that I still want to do and achieve. I do. I'm going to be balancing those with the truth for me that I also want peace. And at the end of the day, I don't know how much of my peace I'm willing to forfeit for the achievement. So I'm seeking more counsel these days than ever, collaborating more, partnering more. And for me, I'm saying, I'd like XYZ to happen, but it's going to have to happen within the boundaries that I have for myself that include my inner peace. So we'll see. We'll see to that point. But again, what is the goal? Is it, I'd rather win. Bottom line is, just be honest with yourself. Yeah, the peace stuff sounds good, the happiness, whatever. Right now, I'm willing to risk some burnout, some bitterness, some anxiety, some worry, some stress. I want to win X. Okay. And I mean, I've done seasons of that I look back and go, that year plus of building, killing myself, I felt like, to build the big family dream home that we just sold. But that year, I don't regret it. It's a great payoff. I'm glad it didn't go longer than that, and then it ended. And there may be some seasons where I go, okay, I'll stress some of the areas of my life somewhat for the sake of this achievement, but I'm going to put a time limit on it. And I'm probably still going to maybe not make it as big and as fast as it could be, because I'm just, at the end of the day, I just don't really want to go through a day that I don't embody a level of peace and contentment and joy. So it calls us to a self-audit. What do we really want? Again, it's not a judgment. I'm not sitting here as a judgment. If you say you want to, right now I want to achieve, I'm not judging. I'm kind of proud of you if you say that, for just being honest. Just being honest. I want to help you be okay with that and not be frustrated that, again, you may be taxing yourself over here, and at the end of the day going, whoa, gosh, I didn't experience a lot of joy and happiness today, but I want to be the Jim Carrey. I want to make the millions right now. Okay. Because I feel a lot of people are continually frustrated and grading themselves and guilty even, because they think they want this peace and happiness, but they really want this. And I don't know that you can have both to a degree. Again, it depends on what that effort is. What do you want? How important is happiness? Being peaceful, fulfilled, content, healthy and well even. Now then, if you feel like, yeah, that is a priority for me. I want that. I'm not going to risk that for the sake of something else. I want that peaceful fulfillment, and I want to help others with that. And again, this wasn't about people who want to sell happiness and peace and such things, health and wellness, but to look at that, if you want to. Another part that's relevant to me right now as I look at continuing to come forth with my own advocating of such things is realizing not everybody wants it. I wonder what the percentage of people who really do want to invest in themselves and in their peace, what is that percentage, and how much will they spend? I mean, I'm aware right now, and I see it with a lot of, quote, self-improvement providers, influencers, practitioners, that they often end up selling it in a business construct. Right now, if you're a psychologist and a therapist or a professor or whatnot, a lot of the people I have on the show, if they go forth and say, "Man, I've got a message for humanity, for human potential, human wellness and goodness. I've got a message," and they go to a publisher or an agent or a publisher, they are very much, is what I find. I experience it and I hear testimony from continually. They are geared towards let's cash it under leadership, success. My publisher, big publisher, McGraw-Hill. I wanted to be in the self-improvement category. They flat out wanted me in the business category. Why? It sells better. People will spend more money on their career, on business success than they will on just the person. That's a proven fact out there, that stat. Now, does that mean you can't make money selling health and wellness and peace and contentment? Well, obviously you can. There's people who have done it out there, and especially if you really, achieve a celebrity status, you can charge a lot for that. But it doesn't seem to pay as much as offering people fame, achievement, career, business, pleasure. Man, those things are there. I like those things too. I one time saw the word sensualist and I thought, ooh, I kind of relate to that. I love the pleasures. I love the pleasures. Every day I'm looking forward to dinner. I usually am thinking about it throughout the day and planning what I'm going to go get at the grocery store. And I'm going to have music on and I'm going to cook and I'm going to have a glass of wine and I'm going to play a game with the kids. Or we're going to watch a show, or I may go watch the stars, or I appreciate the pleasures. I caution myself with my level of attachment to them. And I watch, do they ever get in the way of my peace? Meaning, if I don't have them, can I still have joy? So I'm often questioning that as well. So to wrap this up, what do we want? What do you want right now? What really is most important? And it's not an either or. It's not okay, you can have the peace and the contentment and the fulfillment and health and wellness and purpose, or all the big wins and the gold medals. I don't see that. We always want to polarize. That sells well these days too. It's this or that. I don't see that. Can you have both? I hope so. I think so, to a degree. I don't know. What's most important though? And how are you doing with it? I want us to get real with our expectations, get honest with ourselves. And I do. I'd be lying if I didn't say, I do hope that as I continue on these styles of messages, I want to draw people more to the spiritual aspect of themselves, to what seems to be fulfilling. And to some degree, why? I'm doing it selfishly. I want to be around those people. Those are the people that I'm most interested in these days. Those are the people that help enhance my own pursuit of contentment and fulfillment and peace. And I feel like there's fewer out there. More and more, I just find that people, even the people I know, that their focus is the achievement, and they're not available. They're not really present. They don't have time to be curious. And I think I have been that person for the most part. Everybody always, I never say always. No, it's really hard to. They're always saying, "Oh, so apologizing, Kevin, I know you're so busy," because they perceive me as having this flourishing business and 100 children and all these, friends and whatnot. And I'm tired of being that guy. I guilt myself when people say, "Oh, Kevin, so sorry to bother you. I know you're busy." But everybody's busy. I guilt myself for being busy. I do not want to be busy. Feel free to connect with me. My goal is to be available, is to have margin, is to have downtime. I do, as my friend Randy says, the hard work of relaxation, to kind of force myself to just do nothing. be available. And when a kid contacts me for something, my kids still do that sometimes too. Oh, Dad, sorry. Oh man, I'm here for you. I want to be here for you. Now, that though is not a free for all. I'm working continually on having my own boundaries to secure my own time. So I'm not just 100% available for people, but I want to be a good percentage available to check in and be present and to be so filled within myself of peace that I don't have a need from you and I can just be with you. Those are the people I want to be with. And that's the kind of person I want to be. So something to contemplate. Well, hey, thank you for joining this conversation. And has been rare to do a monologue. Hadn't done it for years, but I did one a couple weeks ago. Interestingly, it got more attention than any show I've done in a while. I don't think that's about me. I wonder if it's because it's me talking more directly with you as opposed to you just auditing a conversation I'm having with somebody else. Though I still love those, you'll still be getting those from me as well. But if you heard something today that resonated, that frustrated, that you resonated with, that you frustrated yourself with, that you angered yourself with, that you inspired yourself with, but you would like more, I'm happy to connect with you. I am making more efforts to be more available. Email me, kmiller@kevinmiller.co. Until next time, here's to the evolving and I hope more peaceful you.